have a question. What is your favorite song and how do you connect with it? Is it when you fell in love or through something really difficult? I'm your host, Tiffany Mason. Now join me as I interview others and we take a walk down memory lane with them. Let's get lost in why that music matters to them. Turn up your radio and let's explore Memories with a Beat. Hello, Podcast Land. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. And we are in for a treat today, you guys. I have a KJ on the line with us. So I recently learned this term. It's a karaoke jockey, much like, disc jockey, music jockey, DJ, all those other terms with J's at the end. And so Tess was kind enough to say yes, and she's going to share an awesome song with us, a song that I already have on another playlist. So I'm very excited to see, Tess, your take on this song. Tess, welcome to Memories with a Beat.
Hey, Tiffany, thank you for having me. So glad to be here.
Yes. When I saw that you were, big in the karaoke world, I had to connect you with my buddy Ed. And I don't know if you guys remember Ed being on the show. He chose a song, Get Better by Frank Turner. And actually, a little update, Ed got to interview Frank Turner, who sings that song. So that was really kind of a cool turn of events. And it's been fun to keep in touch with Ed. And I actually connected Tess with Ed because you guys are both in the karaoke world. Tess, if you wouldn't mind, tell my audience a little bit about yourself, where you are, and what you do.
Hi, yes, I am in Minneapolis. I am actually a coach for executives and leaders, and I do karaoke on the side. Growing up in the Philippines, karaoke is a culture, it's something that I grew up with. So we sing karaoke almost everywhere, not just in bars. It's part of, we invite you to a party, to our home, karaoke is there. So I grew up with karaoke, and going to the bars is a treat for me, and even better to get paid for it on the side. But yes, I am coach working with executives and leaders who are already successful in their game but feeling like there's something more, there's something missing, there's something like feeling of emptiness, and I help them go into that wholeness part of them so they can lead, with all of their being, with all of their mission, purpose, all that, so that they can sustain a life fulfilled rather than always exhausting, because I burnt out. In fact, my song before, I was an accountant before, a single mom, and my song before, my personal anthem was I Will Survive.
Oh,
And
no.
and that was my song before I Will Survive. So I was in that survival. Let's just get it done and over with. I will get through today. And then,
Well, when you guys hear... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, something shifted. I can't be singing that anymore because that's not how I live life anymore. And so when I came across Belinda Carlisle's song, it's like, this is it. This is my new anthem. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say, when the audience hears what you've chosen, it's quite the extreme opposite of I Will Survive. But first, I want to ask you, how long have you been in the States? How did you get from the Philippines to Minneapolis?
Oh my goodness, I've been uprooted so many times. I was 19 when I left the Philippines. We first immigrated to Canada with my mom and dad and siblings. And then 10 years later, or 7 years later, I met my first husband, and then we got married. We were in Winnipeg first, and 7 years in Winnipeg, I met my first husband in Vancouver, Canada. Then we
Okay.
moved to Alberta, and then we moved to the US because he wanted to have American children. And so I had to restart myself a couple of times in the accounting field. I left my accounting designation, just became stay at home mom, supporting a family. But we didn't last very long as a couple, as a family in the States.
Mhm.
Within 6 months, our marriage broke down and I became deportable back to Canada. But he attempted to kidnap my kids. So universe intervened and didn't allow me to go back to Canada because all I wanted to do was go back to Canada with two young children. I had a newborn baby. I was pregnant when we
Oh my
moved
gosh.
July of 1996. I was pregnant with my second baby. And then I had a almost 2 year old. So right after the birth of my second baby, he just went nuts and slapped my 2 year old. So there was a physical assault on my 2 year old, and I just done giving birth and all that. So it was chaotic. He really got stressed out and was taking it out on the kids. So he attempted kidnapping the kids, and there was some injury sustained on my behalf, and the police intervened and put him in jail and all that. Oh my God, seems so long ago. So that's why I'm telling you, my theme song back then was I Will Survive. I was blessed with two children, but I was deportable. How was I gonna raise these two kids? But
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah, no, that's the note I made too, man. That is the reason why that was your song. You
mhm,
had a lot that you were just trying to make it through every day. Oh my goodness. And we've moved a lot. So when you first started sharing your story, I was thinking that, oh, I totally get, I will survive because being a mom of a couple kids, you got to get them in school and find the doctors and know the way around, plus find them friends and find you friends, and staying at home is, tough enough in and of itself, but then to be moving a couple of times is really tough too. So when you said you were reinventing yourself, and then, the final bomb that you just dropped about your ex being maybe a little bit abusive,
mhm.
it sounds like maybe mentally and physically. And so just to survive all that on top of,
And emotionally.
yeah, emotionally on top of just surviving your job. So there was a lot that you were just surviving. So I am super intrigued how we get to the song that you've chose, but really quick, I want to squeeze in there. You have a podcast. I want to talk just a little bit about your podcast, and then I really want to hear how you've gotten to the song that you chose.
Oh, great, great segue. I have a podcast called Soul Power to the People, Rising Above Crimes Against Humanity. And these are intentional or unintentional crimes against humanity. And oftentimes it's crimes against oneself.
Mm,
And again, it's not intentional. It's all subconscious limiting beliefs that we carry on doing. We inherited it. We were conditioned to believe certain things. We don't question and we just keep going, doing this same thing over and over again at our own demise, at our own detriment. And
mm-hmm,
so you can call that self sabotage, you can call that limiting beliefs, you can call that whatever dogmas that really stopped us from growing into our soul potential, into our soul power. So my message really is soul power because I went from I will survive to heaven is a place on earth exactly because of this. I didn't know that there were so many things I was doing day in, day out that was not even me. It was just programmed or conditioned into me to behave a certain way so that people will accept me, people will love me, so that I will get a raise, so that I can put food on the table. And at first I was like, what is my crime here? I just wanted to put food on the table.
mm-hmm,
And so it all will unravel once, I didn't want to live anymore. There was a time that I just wanted to check out. I already checked out. I burnt out. I loved my kids. I loved raising them solo. But at some point, I lost the steam. I lost the purpose. I lost the direction, especially when they grew up already. They turned 12,
mm-hmm.
13, 14, and they were like, bye, mom. We want to be with my friends. So bye, see you. And then I was left there. I'm like, where am I in this story? So I lost myself. I didn't even know what I wanted for breakfast. All I could do was eat their
Mm-hmm.
leftover. So I really lost myself. So burnt out, spiritual depression, all that. I
Mm,
didn't want to be here anymore. And I'm like praying to God, just take me back. I don't belong here. But in all that self discovery, self awareness, self empowerment, what I realized is I was just borrowing this identity from someone else. It's my mother's expectation of me, it's my father's expectation of me. It's the society's expectation of how I should live my life, that I should have a house, a white picket fence, so many children, so many degrees, blah, 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 and not necessarily
yeah.
what my soul came here to do. So that is the podcast. What are the crimes that we are doing to ourselves intentionally or unintentionally? And really going into how did I get here to this empty place where I didn't want to be here anymore, especially when I lost my sense of purpose. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it definitely does. I mean, I think it happens to more people than anyone would like to acknowledge. I think that's beautiful that you're taking, how a previous guest put it was turning your mess
Mhm.
into your message. And I think that that's beautiful, taking people down these paths of self discovery and what does that mean? And limiting beliefs, man, they are
Mhm.
powerful. You got to get that crap out of your head and you got to, establish your own rules, your own guidelines, your own boundaries, and what makes you happy and what makes you thrive. So I think that that's a great message, Tess. So good job on that one. Yes. Oh my gosh. So important. And I think that the world is starting to wake up. I mean, I don't know how I would be as a person if there wasn't all this talk about mental health and everybody doing all this discovery
Right.
on how to make it better. I think I would be like a really true hot mess. But because there are so many tools, so many accessible tools out there, I've really been able to realize that everybody struggles and everybody goes through these things. And especially being a solopreneur, how people really do struggle with a lot of limiting beliefs and how those limiting beliefs spill over into our personal lives too. So, this is really important work that you're doing, Tess.
Thank you. And really, for me, the biggest crime, and there are a lot of crimes that are intentionally put on the people that are really dumbing down human consciousness. There are so many crimes from pharmaceuticals to so many things, and I don't want to get political on your show. But the biggest crime for me is the belief that there is something out there that will fix us and that will make us whole. And that is a total BS.
Yep, yep, I would agree with that, Tess.
Mhm.
Well, you have managed to find something that wasn't medicine, obviously, because you think it's BS, and I would agree with you. But how have you found a way to be whole, or how does this song tie in with that? So, share with my audience what your song is, and then go from there how you relate to it or how it's brought you to a place of wholeness, maybe.
Well, yes, heaven is a place on earth. There was a time I was doing a live event with my clients. I was doing a Zoom call with them and I was walking them through 7 layers of why. Like, why? Why is it important? And so, in the land of coaches, making a $10,000 a month is like a big goal. It's like, talk about programming. That is something, okay, that is what lures new coaches into signing up for a program in hopes that they will make 10K a month, right? So
Yep.
I was doing that with them. Okay, well, let's go there. Let's look into our money limiting beliefs, right? Why do I want $10,000 a month? And I was doing this for me. I was doing the exercise with them using my own example. Okay, so why do I want $10,000 a month? Okay, great. So then I can, have the money to support my business. Why is that important? So that I can fulfill my job and serve the world. Why is that important? Well, then I keep doing it until I said to myself, well, then, so I can finally die. I've
Oh
done my purpose
gosh.
so I can finally die. And I'm like, oh my God, Tess, I thought you were done with the dying business. I thought you found your purpose as a coach. You still want to
Yeah.
die. And then, okay, well, you're there. Why do you want to die? So that I can be with my maker. Keep going. Why is that important? So that I can be on heaven. And right away, an alarm set off on me. I'm calling you on your bullshit. This is me talking to myself.
Yeah.
You said with God, everything is possible. You and God are one and the same, and blah, blah, blah. There's divine, human, merge of consciousness and God consciousness. You don't believe what you are talking about. You don't believe what you're teaching. And then I'm like, oh, duh, I don't have to die to go to heaven. That was a
Mm.
big breakthrough moment for me to align my thoughts, my words, and action. And oh my God, then I found this song immediately after that. And then this song has become my anchor. I don't know what heaven looks like. I don't know what heaven looks like on earth, but it's a start. Acknowledging it is a start. Creating an anchor, a music to remind me that this is what I want. We can get so caught up in the everyday existence, paying the bills, going to a job, creating content, let's say, so that I can attract more clients, and fuel the bank, right?
Yeah.
But really, if we forget what our soul is here to do, then we just go into the grind and the hustle of life, and that creates emptiness and lack rather than the wholeness that I was talking about.
Yep. I've heard another person say they don't think depression, not that it doesn't exist, but that it's not that you have depression, you have a lack of purpose. And so once you find that purpose, your soul kind of feels fulfilled.
Yes.
So you were kind of on that mission too.
Yeah, depression really is lack of expression. So, with all the limiting beliefs and conditioning, we are programmed to limit ourselves. Oh, what will people say? Oh, is this acceptable or not? What if they hate me? What if they think that me going after this or that is. There's always that value conflict that happens
Mm-hmm.
when people go after what they really want, but it doesn't have to be conflicted. So, lack of expression really is what contributes to depression. So, when we step into whatever it is that we want to create joy, right? You said KJ earlier. I just learned that too in the last couple of weeks. KJ in my country, the Philippines, kill joy. I'm like, I don't kill joy. Don't call me a KJ. I don't kill joy. I create joy. And so, whatever that is, whatever your purpose is, it doesn't have to be grandiose. I'm going to save the world. It's what is it that you want to experience and fulfill or create in this now moment? And if it's joy, allow yourself to fully experience and express that and watch depression just diminish and dissipate and disappear and transmute actually into joy.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. So you're saying that you discovered this song not too long ago, which would indicate to me maybe you didn't know of it in the 80s?
I did know of it in the 80s, but it's just
Okay.
something that you sing and you don't really put your heart and mind to it. There's so many songs. I love The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. That's another song that I
Mm-hmm.
sang to. And then I felt so betrayed when she died. When she died, that was the time I was having a dark night of the soul. I was really into spiritual depression when
Oh.
she died. I felt so abandoned and betrayed by her. How can someone who has everything, who has the looks, the voice, the money, everything, and how can she die like that?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand it. She's got everything. How can she still mess it up? And that's how I got into the behavioral psychology, the laws of the universe, and all that, and really understand for me how I can personally move from I will survive to I don't want to be here to all right, let's create heaven on earth. I'm in.
So I'm guessing it's not so much the actual story of the song. It's more just that main line, heaven is a place on earth, and you kind of relating to that. And also the song itself is just very uplifting and inspiring. So then when that chorus hits, ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? I'm sure that's what kind of hits home for you is more the idea of heaven on earth, more so than the song lyrics themselves. Is that fair?
Yes. Also, as a karaoke host, as a karaoke jockey, as a KJ,
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to embrace that word. As a KJ, it's an opportunity for me to sing on stage. I can't coach everybody,
right.
but through the song, I can magnify my desire, my intention, my purpose to create heaven on earth through a song. And vibration is everything, energy is everything.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who you're going to touch, what impact you're going to create just by sending really positive, pure intention for people. And this one here is usually one of the songs. I call it my signature song. I don't sing it every single time,
Okay.
but every single week I do, either on this location or that location, because I DJ twice, sometimes three times a week.
Okay.
So it's my way for me to really put it out there. Hey guys, heaven is a place on earth.
Now, do you say anything before your performance?
No, I just do everything with a smile. And sometimes I can be a very tough, hey, get off my stage, right?
There's There's probably a time and a place for that where it's appropriate.
Right? Don't drop the mic.
I believe that.
But the intention to create a new thought or just create joy in that moment. I love it when people actually sing with me in that song.
Mm.
People are dancing, waving their hand, and sometimes they come on stage with me singing this song.
Well, I would definitely be singing along. I don't know if I'd get on stage, but I'd be singing along because it just has good childhood memories for me. I mean, we would always go to the skating rink. That's how I know this song. And I just remember the disco would come on and people would be holding hands. And then you would get kind of dizzy because the disco ball would be going in a different direction than some of the lights. And but good memories for me too. And then when I put it on my playlist, I was just on our golf cart here in Florida. And it was a beautiful day. We had just left church and everything just felt aligned and perfect with the world. And my daughter is quite a bit younger. She just turned 11, but at the time I think she was 9. And I was like, ooh, I've got the best song for this. And I put it on and I don't think she necessarily appreciated or connected with it. But man, I was just feeling like beams coming out of my chest, just total gratitude and thankfulness for life and everything that we have to offer. So I love that that's also how you're trying to connect to it too, is just saying like, I'm here, I'm making the best of it, and I'm going to help other people to make the best of it too.
Yeah. And really, the song itself says, in this world, we're just beginning to understand the miracle of living.
Mm-hmm.
And that really is, if we recognize our worth, our soul power, our everything, if we do not ever give away our power ever again, what is possible? What is possible?
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is heaven.
Well, and I love the words that follow. Baby, I was afraid before, but I'm not anymore.
But I'm not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Super empowering.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love this song choice. I love it. Absolutely. Tess, is there anything more you want to add to this song or to this song choice?
What would I add to this song? No, nothing. It's really just the acknowledgement that heaven is a place on earth. And we don't have to die to go to heaven. If there's anything I will add there, that right there.
Yep, that's important.
You don't have to die to experience heaven. You don't have to suffer and punish yourself, making yourself be worthy of heaven. You already are. You already are heaven on earth.
I love that.
It starts with you.
I love that. And I think God, He doesn't want that for us either. He doesn't want us to be punishing ourselves. He wants us to experience a life that's full and full of joy or whatever divine power you believe in. But I believe that as well, Tess. I think that that is a great place to end it. Just saying you don't have to die to experience heaven. But I do think you have to actively make choices towards fixing some of those limiting beliefs to get yourself to that place sometimes. So, yep, that's fair enough.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you have to confront it. Sometimes you have to question it. Sometimes you have to go back. And sometimes we inherited them not because our parents or our guardians, our caretakers wanted us to suffer in hell on earth.
No.
That was not their intent. The intent was safety. The intent was comfort. The intent was survival. But how do you go beyond survival and actually create heaven on earth?
Yep.
That would be a great challenge for the listeners to have to contemplate and do some reflection. Otherwise, without that understanding, inner understanding of your own fulfillment of your soul, then you're just giving your power away. And unfortunately, that is a huge crime against humanity.
Yep, I would agree. Well, Podcast Land, you know you can catch this song on the playlists on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and it's just simply called Memories with a Beat, the playlist. I hope you tune in, enjoy it. If you're not familiar with the song or if you're super familiar with the song, throw it out there on social media, tag Tess and I, let us know what you thought about the episode. I'd love if you subscribe so that you can hear all the upcoming episodes as well. Podcast Land, I hope that this episode was music to your ears. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You never know what rabbit holes we'll get to go down and explore. Were you reminded of anything? Or anyone? Share what it was with me in a review. Honestly, the reviews don't do me any favors other than knowing people like you are listening to this podcast. Insert cheesy wink. However, the ratings do help, so leave me 5 stars. You know you wanna. This podcast was produced by Virtual You, supporting you in all things podcasting. To connect or check me out on social media, I mean, I know you're just gonna stalk me. But see the show notes, as always, for details. Can't wait to dive into my next guest's memories with a beat. Hit subscribe now. You don't want to miss the next episode.